Hey everybody, welcome back to my survival series. I'm Boomer, your host, and today we're going to pick up from where we left off. And actually what we're working on right now is getting automation going. So let's kind of take a look and see what we've done since the last time you guys came together. So we've actually got, like I said, we put this together for sorting, but what we've done is we've removed the manual system and we actually have gold pans and dust washers fully automated. And in that tips and tricks video, this is what made this so easy for me, is that just by doing it all at once. Now, I'm not saying you're going to do it in 5 minutes. Don't get me wrong. It took me a lot of time to grind the materials, but doing all the processes at once saves time versus going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Right? So I have all the dust on the bottom. I already have ingot formers running. So now I have a double chest of everything ready to go at any moment's notice. And we're running this off of 4 gravel generators, or actually technically 8 because there's 2 on each. So everything's been fully automated. So we have gravel coming in, giving us our sifted ore. We have dust being produced. We have ingot factories going for everything but iron, because I have so much iron it's literally just drooping everywhere, if that's the right term. And I now have 32 smelteries set up, ready to go, fully integrated with power and cargo. And all of this was possible out of the gate because I took the time to grind 4 Ignis generators. So I'm producing 10,000 joules per tick. Or is it per second? I forget which one it is. But anyways, so I have a long way to go. It took me, like I said, 2.5 hours to grind those out, nonstop. It would have been about 15 minutes less if I had enough nether wart already put together, but I had to wait for some of it. Whereas grinding one of them would have taken me almost 2 hours. So by spending that extra half hour, I got 3 extra generators out of that, saving more than 5 extra hours of wasted time. So all of this is ready to go. So I'm to the point now to where it's time to, like I said in my tips, is another tip we're going to put into play. So besides grinding at once in bulk, the next one is to put the add-ons to your advantage. Now, I have every add-on with the exception of light expansion, because it's not upgraded to 1.20.4 yet. I can't believe this. I'm not a dev. I don't code squat, and yet I was able to find a way to make Slime Tinker work in 1.20.4. While granted, I know the devs are all going, Boomer, it's real simple, and actually it was. Once I just did a couple searches on Google, figured it out, got it going. It didn't take too long. And I believe I also have Netheriopoiesis converted to 1.20.4 as well. So all I'm waiting on is EMC Tech and light expansion. So we have every other official add-on, and at some point YBW from the Slime Fun Discord is not only a dev for Slime Fun, but this guy has got tons of organized information on other Slime Fun add-ons that I want to take a look on. I'll look at some of them and see about integrating them at some point in the future if possible. For now, though, the one add-on that we're going to take full advantage of right off the bat, probably the best one I could get into right now, is global warming. I already have all the dust automated, ingots automated. We have 32 smelteries ready to go to start making alloys. But as you may or may not know, if you've played a whole lot of this, if you haven't, then you don't know yet. Carbon is king in Slime Fun. At least, especially to get going, carbon is king. So here's why global warming becomes such a beautiful add-on. Now, we're not going to put up the air quality meter or the thermometer out of the gate because it requires mercury, which comes from cinnabrite, which means you have to geomine. I'm not set up for geomining yet, and so we're going to hold off on building those yet. But what we are going to do is take advantage of the air compressor, because what the air compressor does is it pulls CO2 out of the air. Now, my current setup, I get notices about every 15 minutes in game where my CO2 level is, and it says really, there's no temperature rise. So you would think there'd be no CO2 production, but there actually is. So we're going to make 8 air compressors. 4 of them we're going to take epi canisters and fill them with CO2, and the other 4 are going to take the canisters and give me carbon. This is the beauty of this add-on, and this is why I remember when I first did the video on global warming, a lot of the feedback I got was this add-in's a little OP, and to be honest with you, it kind of is. Honestly, I would have loved to, well, I'm not going to say love, but I would have thought one coal would have been sufficient. But instead, we're getting carbon right out of the bat. So we do need to craft these real quick. So we're just going to put these together in my crafting. Man, it is weird seeing these things because of how I set up the half slab. I almost forgot the recipe there. But to have that half slabs on the bottom, it's something I'm still not used to yet. All right. Air compressors. And because I have all of the power in the world, right, these things are going to run with no problem. So the question now becomes, where do I want to put them? So I've got room right here. You know what? I need something to stand. This is the problem with half slabs. I need something to stand on, right? Because you can't jump on top of it. This is what becomes a bummer. Is give me a head. Any head will work. It just becomes a challenge to be able to stand up so that I can actually see. Now I can get on top of the machine. Let's see, cargo 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Yes, so we'll be. Oh, darn it! I did it again. Well, let's see if I can make this jump. See, I'm not good at parkour either. But actually, to tell you the truth, I suck at parkour royally. Anyways, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so now we can set these up with cargo. But what we do need to make first is the empty canisters, and so we need to have the solder ingots. And some glass bottles. So I did set together a bunch of solder ingots. Are they still in here? Yes, they are. Okay, great. I thought I had more than that at some point. Oh, I had to use some for the crafting too. Okay. So we need some glass bottles. Now, 32 is probably not going to be enough to cover. I don't believe so. Because that gives me... I mean, if I use advanced output nodes, I can run them on the same channel. I only have a handful of those so far, so I'm probably going to have to just make extra for now. Let's see. So how many will that give me? 192, and the recipe is 6 solder per. So I'm going to need an insane amount of solder ingots. So I'll tell you what, let's just get some started, just so you guys can see this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is that the right? Did I get the conversion right? 6 to 1. So 192. Oh, this is just enough to get started, I think. Right? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Nope. 8. And then we need 10, if I remember correctly. Yep. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so we'll get all the smelteries going to speed this up a little bit. I'll just start up 8 of them. I just want to get a few going just to show you. So again, having all that power makes this so much easier. I don't have to worry about anything in terms of electrical power because I'm producing so much. It will be a long time before I'm in need of crafting either more or the next level. Alright, so we need to get 6 of these. Let's see if we've got enough just to make one, just so you can see how this works. Oh, okay, I got 36. Oh, well, we're good. I got enough to get started here. Let's come back to our crafter. We'll just put this in the middle. And it is, okay, 3, 2, 1. Alright, we can do that. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 1. Nice. So it does take a little bit of resources to craft it, but this is what makes this so nice. Alright, let's put it in. Perfect. Okay, how long does it take to run? Oh, not long at all. Alright, we've got our CO2 canister. Look at that. And actually, it just came up. So it says global temperature has risen 0. So I've not caused it to go up yet, but I'm able to pull carbon out of the air. Well, carbon canisters anyways, filled with CO2. And now I get my carbon and I get my glass bottle back. So what will happen is these 4 will get set up to pull carbon out of the, or yeah, carbon and CO2 out of the air. These 4 on the right will get set up to convert that into carbon. So let let these smelteries run for a while, get enough resources, and then we'll come back. All right, so now that we've had our machines running for a while, this is why, a lot of people consider this add-on to be OP. And by the way, we've already compressed a bunch of it into compressed carbon. I don't know exactly how long the server's been running. I let my computer run overnight, so I'm sure a lot of it is just backed up waiting to come in. So now that had the initial dust farm set up, the initial ingot factory set up, we've got carbon, but I want to show you what else we did in the meantime. We've actually ripped out the initial setup and already redone it. So the only thing that stayed was the gravel generators, and I've actually added 4 more because I noticed they weren't keeping up. Now, as long as there's gravel in every machine, I'm okay if they're all empty. So let's go over and take a look at our go pans. It looks like they're barely hanging in there, but again, I'm okay with that. Even if there's only 1 or 2 in each, that's all that's needed. You don't have to have 128 to say that the go pans are running. They're running. Oh, by the way, welcome to Networks. So we're producing dust at a 50% faster rate than we were previously, and now we've switched over to network storage. Now, as you can see, I'm still using cargo. We're not ready for the full networks yet. We have a long way to go. But the nice thing about this is one of the challenges that you face is the system backing up because you don't have a way to keep machines going when one of these fills. So I have my bottom row are all dusts, and then my top row are all ingots. So here's how you keep the machines constantly running without wasting resources or running out of dust. For ingots, you set the void to false. For dust, you set the void to true. So if my iron dust fills up, but I still need aluminum ingots, the dust machines, the dust washers will still produce dust. And that way I can get all of those full. And granted, once they're full, who cares, right? Even if it voids out the excess, this way all of my machines stay full. So now the next step is to get smelteries automated, because the next add-on I want to start taking advantage of, and it's going to take a while, is cultivation. There's roughly, I forget how many combinations, 60, 70, 80, something like that, of plants that produce resources. And so I want to automate every single one of them. Like I said, my goal now is to have every single add-on with as many items as possible running. To get cultivation going, we have to automate a few things because I want to get all the cloches going. So when you come in here and you take a look at what does it take to get a cloche, this is going to take us a little bit of time. Okay, hardened glass, no big deal. I can make plenty of that. Gold blocks, no big deal. Here's where this gets to be a little bit of a challenge, because with a crop growth accelerator, now we need programmable androids, which means we need plastic. So that's going to involve the slimy tree taps add-on. So that's going to be second after we automate the core ingots. Motors, no big deal. Again, that'll be part of the automation process. Blistering ingots. Here's the problem. We don't have any nether stars, right? So that's going to have to be third. I'm hoping I can set up a manual cultivation plant to get nether stars. I am not wanting to go kill withers anywhere in this area. Yes, I could boat out 1,000 blocks and tunnel something underground, but I'm going to need quite a few because we need a cloche for every single plant. And some of them I may set up 4 or 5 or 6 of them, depending on what the material is. Additionally, carbonels have to get automated. Now, granted, we've got the carbon production, all right, and then uranium. So we also have to create a small uranium farm. We can do that from the sifted ore or Infinity Expansion's uranium extractor. I don't know which I'm going to do. The other problem with getting to this, now we've got the animal growth accelerator. So now we're talking about the auto breeder. Again, reinforced. Again, more blistering ingots. Hay bales, no big deal. Food fabricators. So you can see there's going to be a lot of stages to get to this. Now capacitors, which means I have to automate sulfate. So we take this one step at a time. This is where people tend to panic. and get all fussed up and worried. You can't get there in one moment, right? You've got to do things in stages. So as you're doing these stages, take the time to set things up right. All right. So first and foremost, I need to automate all the alloys because I'm going to use quite a few of them, especially for making all those reinforced ingots, right? Here's what people will start doing. They'll SF calc and find this massive list of resources and put it all together and then go to something else. But if you automate it first, while it might take you a little bit longer initially, while you're automating the next one, right? When you get that first one going, let's say you get brass going, you start working on bronze, brass is running automatically. Then after bronze, you start setting up nickel. Brass and bronze are running automatically. Eventually, you get ahead of the game than you could if you just were to spam a smeltery. That's the key of automation, is the sooner you set it up, the more it can work for you. Whereas now you become more productive because you can continue to set up other items. So I'm going to put together a list of the core alloys that we can get set up. Some materials I have for the redstone alloy ingot. Luckily, when I went mining and clearing all the space, I saved all that redstone. So I have tons of redstone blocks stored up, but at some point I'm going to run out, right? So we have to automate redstone. Again, the garden close should be one. The infinity expansions options will be another. I want to say there's one in Supreme. I think there's one in Dynatech. We're going to set all of those things up at some point, but for now, let me get going on alloy setups. All right, guys, so we've got quite a few of the alloys automated. All the basic ones like Billin, Soldier, Nickel, Cobalt, Duralumin. I know I'm missing a couple more basics. Ferrosilicon is set up, so is Redstone alloy, along with Damascus, steel, and hardened metal. So pretty much the only thing I need to do now is 24 karat gold, and I can automate reinforced alloy ingots. So we'll keep working on that. And I do need to bring something out too. The last video I misspoke, and I was talking about the Supreme Tech Gens. And one of my viewers rightfully called me out on it, and I totally realized afterwards that I was saving the iron golem heads from the extra heads had on, thinking I'd use those for the heads in the Tech Gens. And I forgot it's the common heads, which means you need the collector. There's a couple different ways you can do it, either manually or automatically, but I had the wrong ones. And so I wanted to apologize for that. The other thing I wanted to show you, while I was getting a lot of those to run, because I'm out of iron dust, I'm out of copper dust, I've got the ingot pulverizer working to try to play catch up. So I'm going to have to work on automating a faster dust farm here shortly. But we decided to jump into cultivation. We have all 89 plants. Now, nothing has been upgraded. Tell you what, we'll just do this just to show you what this looks like. Ritwick got to see this the other day. One of the users on the Slime Fund Discord. Oh, come on. There we go. So all 89 plants have been created. The one that took the longest by far was the reinforced deep slate, because it took forever to get Scrappy. Scrappy is the netherite scrap one, and that one has the longest breeding time as well as crop growth time. So we finally have every single one of them. I have at least 2 of each ready to go to start working on breeding them up to where they're all 10-10-10s. But that was the last one that took forever to get going. And now, if I'm correct, I should be able to mine my first one. Yep, so I've got one back up. I put at least 1 or 2. I think some of them have 3 or 4 in every single chest. But they're all ready to go. And I want to thank Ritwick as well, because he created a cheat sheet for all the cultivation breeding pairs. And I'm going to post it. I'm going to try to at least post it, or if I can put it in a YouTube video, I will. I don't think there's a way to upload documents though. If not, I will get it onto my Discord shortly after you see this video. But we're going to wrap this up here. I have a lot of work to do. I got some machine upgrading. Now that I've got enough parts automating, I need to start working on some capacitors for different builds. Start working on potentially looking at autocrafters soon. And of course, I need to get networks up and running so I can get rid of cargo. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. And don't forget, when you're playing Minecraft, you gotta go boomer or you gotta go home. We'll see you later.